5 Greenwich time. This is Chris Bickerton with Focus on Africa. Liberia's ruling council sworn in at last. More fighting between rival factions in Mogadishu. Ethiopia says Sudan is harboring assassins. Islamic militants in Algeria target a clown. The police role in racial clashes in South Africa. What Sadaka Ogata saw at the refugee camps in Burundi. And a Dead City Day in Kinshasa. And more, including your letters, more Mozambicans kicked out of South Africa, and sport. Tonight, in Focus. Yes, it's party time in Liberia tonight, after today's swearing in of the new ruling Council of State to steer the country from 6 years of civil war to democratic elections in the next year. On the council, chaired by civilian Professor Wilton Sankawulo, are the three main warlords who've been fighting each other: Charles Taylor of the NPFL, Haji Kromah of ULIMO, and George Boley of the Liberia Peace Council. There have been many attempts to bring peace to Liberia, and most people hardly dared hope that this one would culminate in the inauguration of a new council. Our correspondent David Banford is in Monrovia. Barnaby Phillips asked him how it had all gone.
The festive mood that's been building up for the past few days went into full swing today with the inauguration ceremony. It placed in the Centennial Hall in the middle of town when it was surrounded by tens of thousands of people with drums going all the time and lots of chanting and so on. While inside, the formal ceremony took place involving the 6 members of the Council of State. They've now been sworn in. Various speeches from dignitaries, including Jerry Rawlings from Ghana.
And what were some of the notable things said by the various leaders?
Some of the speeches were very poignant, particularly the one from President Rawlings himself, who emphasized the suffering that the Liberian people have gone through in 5.5 years of war. He said that no despair can compare with that of mothers who have had their children ripped from their arms and brutally killed, and talked about the various other atrocities. And he said that Liberians need peace and the whole sub-region needs peace, but he said he wouldn't underestimate the tasks still ahead. And there was also a very good speech from Professor Sankawulo, the new chairman of the Council of State. He's been criticised in some areas of being somebody who might be weak and might be pushed around by the faction leaders, but it was a very robust speech and gave the impression he's not somebody that can be too easily pushed around.
And meanwhile, outside there were tens of thousands of people, as you say. Was everything peaceful and good-natured there?
Generally speaking, everything was good-natured. There was a difficult moment when bodyguards of Haji Kromah, the ULIMO leader, tried to barge their way in with guns and past the Echo Mob soldiers, and there was a bit of a tense moment which moved into the hall and right to the front of the hall at one stage. But that seemed to pass over, and it didn't spoil the general good nature of the occasion. Indeed, bearing in mind the faction leaders all being there, Charles Taylor and the LPC leader George Boley, as well as Haji Kromah, perhaps it's surprising there wasn't more of a tense situation because of all these bodyguards.
Now, last night we were hearing that when Charles Taylor arrived in Monrovia, there was a huge support for him on the streets. Did you get the impression that he had the most supporters out today as well?
All the faction leaders received support and cheers as they came in, but it's true to say that Charles Taylor in particular received a big rousing cheer as he made his way through the crowds into the front of the hall. But all the faction leaders have their own constituencies, but if the noise factor is anything to go by, Charles Taylor seems that bit bigger.
It must have been an extraordinary day then.
It was indeed. Monrovia has clearly not seen anything like it. It's the first time that Charles Taylor has appeared in Monrovia yesterday and today, and the whole atmosphere of the place is one of a big party. And after all the difficult times that the Liberians have been through in the past 5.5 years, hardly imaginable to us who don't live here, they deserve at least a few days of optimism. Let's hope it lasts into the next year as disarmament gets underway and they move towards the election process.
Our correspondent David Banford in festive Monrovia.